about what the magazine's about?
The magazine is a fairly new publication. I think we're on issue 4. I'm sure Matt will correct me at some point on Facebook. But everybody who writes for the magazine is involved in the vintage scene. So we've all got different niche interests, dancing and fashion and various other things. And I've written a couple of profiles of people who are in the vintage world. And because I'm very lucky and get to go to lots of events, I write reviews of those events and take pictures, or have used other people's pictures, thank you Martin Cook, for putting some of those together for me, and just generally seeing what's going on, where I've been, who I've seen, and I've been to, just starting to do that, really.
So is the magazine about the vintage scene?
It's about the vintage scene, the vintage world, vintage fashion, and everything that surrounds that. So
when we say vintage, are we talking sort of just a specific era, or is there a sort of spectrum of eras you cover?
There's a spectrum, really, but most things that I do are 40s based, but that's my kind of heartland. But we've done shoots that are 1930s based. We did an amazing shoot in an Art Deco house in South London, which I styled, which was very 30s orientated, and it's absolutely stunning, if I say so myself.
Was it one of those houses you want to walk, you just think, right, everybody go now, shut the door, I'll live here, thank you?
It was a bit like that. We all wandered around and pointed at things and were, oh, look at that, and oh, I could live here. And it was absolutely incredible.
So is it a house where they live the life, or is it just happens to have lots of the styling?
They don't live the vintage life, but they have the styling, the original furniture. The house has got all its original doors and handles and bathrooms and fittings, and I mean some mod cons in there, but it's set up like almost like a steamer across 3 floors. It was absolutely incredible, and 2 kind of outside decked patios. It was stunning, absolutely incredible.
So when you turn up at a house like this, do you have a briefing beforehand so you know what you're going to walk into and what you need to bring to it?
We had the clothes supplied by a vintage company called Darling's Vintage, and we had to decide what we were going to shoot, what worked well in the surroundings, what would work well on the model, and then as the stylist's job is basically to iron it all and then make sure that everything fits correctly and that outfits go together, and just making sure that in every shot that it looks the best it possibly can. Oh,
so you say that doesn't fit, or that's too modern and that doesn't fit in that era, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we tried to pull out a couple of different looks. We did a lovely kind of afternoon long dress sitting out on the patio on a steamer chair, which is the cover shot of the latest magazine, which is absolutely beautiful. And we did an evening dress shot, and the pictures are incredible.
Wow. And do you get to sort of indulge in talking to the house owners? Do they tend to sort of watch and with interest, or do you get some places that go, a bit funny about you touching things because it's their prized possession?
Yeah, we all had to take our shoes off when we went to the tour. But, you'd expect that with so much original bits around. We had a chat with the guy who was there with his 2 small children. And
they had children
in this house. And it was a lived-in house, but still incredibly beautiful. Yeah. We had some amazing pieces. Wanted to take them home.
So do you get to see the house before the shoot, or has somebody else sort of sourced the location?
Somebody else had sourced the location. We were using it in conjunction with another business on the day. So it was all kind of set up, and we just basically went in and moved a couple of bits around and set up tables with glasses on it and things like that to make it look like it was a real thing that was going on just for the photographs.
Do you end up sort of having to take suitcase loads of stuff down?
Yeah, Matt brought an awful lot of stuff. Not too much, but because the brief was very specific about what he wanted to look like. And we had the model styled up with Marcel waves, so it was making it strictly 30s. Yeah. But Daisy, who was the model, has got quite a lot of tattoos. So it was very much, and I think that's what our magazine's about. It's very much about vintage, but it's about vintage in the here and now. Okay. So it's for people who, do vintage, but are living in 2014 or 2015 or whenever we're going to publish our magazine. So it's not just about looking at the past and trying to recreate that.
It's about how you put the past into today's society.
Yeah, and sort of, we all, everybody who writes for it lives and breathes it. So it's, it's that take on it.
But it must be quite refreshing to work with people who aren't journalists, just always trying to find some quirky angle to sell all the time. It is actually people genuinely interested in the scene.
Everybody's passionate about it. I mean, I live and breathe it. It's my job. It's what the events that I go to. So it's my life revolves around that. So just writing about events that I go to is it's very natural, and I imagine that that's what it's like for everybody else who writes for the magazine. You know, the people who write about the dancing, that's what they do.
Yeah.
So we're very, I wouldn't say experts, because that sounds too
clinical.
Yeah,
sort of
absolutely.
thing, yeah.
But you know, we're passionate.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. And that must come across in the writing and the things you do.
I mean, I definitely think it does, and it definitely comes across in things like the photography, because someone like Matt Keller, who's his storyboards are incredible in terms of what he wanted the shoot to look like, and the reproduction of that with the modern edge, I think, has worked really, really well.
Brilliant. Well, we'll talk some more in a moment, just after a little bit of Noel Coward. And funny we're talking about photography, because this one's called Just Let Me Look at You.
Tonight, just let me look at you. Don't talk, don't break the spell. You're so sweet, so terribly sweet, so much a part of me. Dear funny face that I love so well. Your smile, such an enchanting smile. It made my whole world right. Oh, darling, stand there all alone for a moment, young and gay and bright. Don't talk, just let me look at you. Just let me look at you, sweetheart, tonight. You are there, exciting and fair, while I'm so dull tonight. Seems there's a lull tonight, what can it be? Graceful words are suddenly rare, speeches are lost for me. But if emotion stills my lips, at least my eyes can see. Tonight, just let me look at you. Don't talk, don't break the spell. You're so sweet, so terribly sweet, so much a part of me. Dear funny face that I love so well. Your smile, such an enchanting smile. It's made my whole world wide. Oh, darling, stand there all alone for a moment, young and gay and bright. Don't talk, just let me look at you. Just let me look at you, sweetheart, tonight.
Sally, some of the events that you've been to, that you've written for the magazine, what sort of events have you gone to?
I've gone to a few. Two of the ones that have been my favourites to write about were Alex Mendham at St Pancras Station, which was incredible. And sadly, they've stopped the dancing now.
So was it a dance event?
Yeah, it was a dance event with Alex Mendham and his orchestra, and there was people who were sort of beginner dance.
At the tube station?
It was at the train station upstairs,
Wow.
next to the champagne bar. So just in an area set up and cordoned off up there, and there was swing dancing, and some of the dancers were of professional standard.
Yeah.
And I took my 9-year-old Benjamin with me, and we had a little dance and went in one of the videos. But things like that, and also things like evening events. Went to an amazing event in Sevenoaks in Kent, which is the Cocoa Club,
Yeah.
which is very much 1930s, and that's run by Empire Radio. So they've got another one next month, so we're going to that as well. I'm just going to have fun at that one and not review it. But that's set up so that it's very much like a 1930s nightclub. Everybody gets dressed up, so it's quite glamorous. And those tend to be the sort of events that I go to.
So when they dress up for the Cocoa Club, is it full Dickie Bow and tails?
Not tails, dinner jackets, girls in evening dresses, chaps in tuxedos, dinner jackets, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I wore an amazing Hollywood dress and felt like a film star.
Did you glide into the event? As you do, as film stars do.
As much as I can glide with all of my 5'1", yes. Had a dance, did a waltz and a bit of a silly Charleston. And no, it was such good fun. And then, just write about that and try and bring that event to life on the page, really, and talking in the same tone of voice that I talk in generally, and try and get that enthusiasm across on the page.
Do you think that events like the two you've just described are well attended because people do actually like dances, sort of social dances?
I do. I think dance is amazing. I mean, I've danced since I was a little girl, and I just think it brings people together. It's a real leveller, and you see people laughing and smiling. Even when you're getting it wrong, it's good fun.
Yeah.
And I swing and dance as well. And that's even more fun. And I just think people like the whole thing about getting together, getting dressed up, having a dance, and really not pretending they live in those times, but reliving the glamour and the style, rather than just sort of, Do
you think people do enjoy the dressing up? Because it really is, it's not just chucking on a dress, is it? It's really going for the loveliest dress that you can find and really putting on the makeup and doing your nails. It's the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I spent ages making sure I've got the right dress for the right event and that dress fits and I've got the right hair to go with that and everything else. So, I mean, I might take it a little bit too seriously, but I don't think so. And I think everybody makes that sort of an effort as well. In some events, some of the dresses go, even though it's a 30s event or a 40s event, the dresses will come right from the 30s through to kind of the early 50s, really. But it's the glamour that I think people really, really enjoy, as well as the dancing.
Yeah. I've seen, just very quickly, before we talk about clothing in a moment, talking about dresses, we were at an event recently and I've seen this most gorgeous dress. It's hugely expensive and it's from about the 1930s. And it's one of these dresses where you'd have to not eat for a week and then put a girdle or whatever you can on to have no stomach because it's such a fitted dress. And Harry said to me, where on earth are you going to wear that? And when you just want a dress because it's absolutely stunning.
I have several of those.
Do you? See, there you are, Harry. I need several. So we'll start with this one.
Absolutely.
But is it, do you kind of find when you go to these events and you talk to people that it is there a joy and a fun in really making that effort as well?
Yes, definitely. I mean, particularly the girls that I know, that's our passion. Yeah. And there's nothing kind of competitive in it. It's just sort of, you want to look the best you can, and it's very much about, don't you look fabulous, and how did you do your hair, and what are your shoes.
And is it the clothes from those eras that help accentuate that look and that feeling? Because they are so fitted, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, we're talking about 30s dresses. They're often bias cut, which gives them that kind of real figure-hugging shape. And then when you move into the 40s, they become a little bit more structured, quite often still with a bias cut skirt. And then come into the late 40s, and the fabrics, everything narrows down quite a lot. But I think you find the look that suits you. I mean, I'm not great with 30s dresses because I'm quite curvy, but 40s relatively structured evening gowns, I think that's my look. That's what suits me, and that's what makes me feel special. So when you're sort of reviewing these events, do you get to pick and choose some of the most glamorous events, or do you have to give it a broad spectrum? I tend to review the events that I'm going to anyway. Obviously, if anybody wants to invite me, I'm more than happy to come along. I mean, I came to your tea dance, things like that. So there's been sort of daytime events that I've done as well. I've just kind of highlighted two that are a bit more kind of evening-y. But no, it's just whatever I'm at and whatever I've had a ball at, really.
So it's Introspect magazine.
In retrospect.
Sorry, that's my writing. So how do people get hold of the magazine? We're online at the moment and hopefully going to print very soon. And it's a very reasonable subscription rate. And if you click into In Retrospect magazine online, then you can have, I think it's 3
looks at what the current issue is before you subscribe. So you can actually read through some of the articles that are already there. Just talking about daytime events, I reviewed the Classic Car Boot Sale, which was very much a daytime event. It's one of the first ones that I did right back in